Yo. Well, you're in a Scarface stream? Okay. No worries. Does the link work? Can you hear me? Okay, cool. I'm gonna post this on Twitter. You guys can join after the fact. No big deal. Cool, 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 cool. All right, you guys enjoy the rest of Scarface's stream. I'll talk to y'all in a bit. Here's your lower high, confirmed lower high, right? So now, once this locked in lower high, any breakdown from here, that's when you get short. But yeah, no worries. The first few minutes of the stream are first 5 minutes are nothing anyways. I'm just making sure everything works. Alright. Sorry. It's quiet? I just haven't been talking very loud. I'll ramp up the volume here. Let me see. I think the mic is loud enough. Sometimes, like, some guy told me I yelled in all my streams, and I've never forgotten it. He's like, "Stop yelling at me," and it was very hurtful. Excuse me. Jeez, that's rude. All right, give it a few minutes for some fresh faces to roll in here. And then we will fucking give her. Fucking give her. I might like Charlie Kirk. What the fuck does that say about me? All right, what's happening, Lucid? So we're going to give it just a couple more minutes here, guys, for a few more people to join up, and then I'll start ranting and raving. I'm going to try and keep this stream under an hour, and I know I say that every time, but fuck. I'm going to try. It's a Wednesday. It's late. I went to the gym for the first time in way too long today. Like in a couple months, I basically took the summer off and I almost died. So I'm sleepy. But said I was going to do it, so I'm going to do it. One of my New Year's resolutions was to be better at keeping to a schedule, and I've been sucking at it for the most part of this year, but there's still time to pick it up. All right, so we got 19 people. I think that's enough for me to kind of get the ball rolling. Crypto Medic, what's happening, bro? So, yeah, fuck yeah, Jeffrey Garcia getting high, my man. Well, welcome. So yeah, let's get into it. So as I mentioned on Twitter today, I'm gonna have kind of a specific focus in terms of what I want to discuss at the beginning of this stream. I just want to talk a little bit more. I know I did this in my last stream, and I was talking all sorts of shit about my losing streak, and here I am again doing it. But at the end of the day, I feel like one of the things. Hey Ryan, how you doing, buddy? Good to see ya. So I know I talked about this in my last stream, some losses, how I was dealing with it. As someone who's been doing this for a long time, I'm very used to losing. What I haven't been doing for a long time is having a bunch of followers on Twitter. So losing, I'm a very self-aware person. I can be very self-critical when needed, and that's all fine and good, and that's necessary in trading. You have to be able to, be self-aware and step back and be objective about yourself and your own decision-making. That's why I talk about journaling being so important, so you can go back and look at decisions you made and say, oh, okay, and point to specific things, right? If it's all in your head, you're not going to remember any of it, but regardless, losing is not a problem for me. I've lost lots of trades. I've gone on lots of losing streaks. I've lost lots of money. I've made tons and tons of mistakes in learning, and even when I became profitable, mistakes are part of the game. Losing is part of the game, and what's a new experience for me, and I'm just kind of doing this for you guys more than anything, because when 2 years ago, I had no followers on Twitter, right? So if I went on a losing streak, even a year and a half ago, I had no followers. It was just me I had to deal with, right? But now, not only am I going through a rough, 4 to 5 weeks of trading, really rough, I'm doing it in front of 50,000 people. Not that all my followers care, but I'm doing it in front of an audience, and it does change the game a little bit. Whether I want to believe it or not, it's a little different. So just like it's a little different, displaying it, I want to kind of work through it with you guys, in real time, live. I don't know if it's going to be valuable for you guys, but fuck it, right? Let's see. If it is valuable for you, I've gotten some messages from my last video from you guys that you really like the insight, so I'm gonna do it again here, and if you find value in it, great. If you don't, that it's all good. I'm gonna get to the charts in a little bit, but I just want to have a little brief, talk about what I did wrong here, how I'm analyzing the mistakes I made over these last, kind of couple of trades I missed or I got wrong. and just workshopping it in front of you guys, and let's see what the fuck happens, right? I think losing and mistakes are something that's not talked about enough on crypto Twitter or Forex, FinTwit either, right? You go on Instagram or you go on Forex Twitter, most people, just like crypto Twitter, it's all very, materialistic, especially on FinTwit with flashing cars and shit. No one ever loses, right? No one ever talks about losing or fucking up. And it sets these unrealistic expectations for what trading actually is and what it's like. And, I have the utmost respect for people who post trades that go wrong and people who talk about losses and losing streaks because, it takes balls. Like, it's going to, hurt your brand. You're not going to have that 100% strike rate that everyone brags about. But, B, I can tell that you're actually trading and you're not afraid to not just put your money on the line and take a trade, but, potentially lose that money and own up to it and move on to the next one, right? So, I want to make it clear that this is very much part of trading. If you plan on doing this as a hobby, full-time, whatever, you will lose lots of trades. You'll probably lose more trades than you win more often than not, but with asymmetric risk reward, you can do that. It allows for that. So let's talk about it and kind of dispel the myth that not as much as you like to think everyone on crypto Twitter caught every move. They didn't. It was very easy. It would have been very easy for me to fudge what I posted on Twitter. Fudge is in fake it, right? What I posted on Twitter to make it seem like I caught the move because I talked about being bearish last week, right? So maybe I tweet too much. Is this what we're learning? Right? So this was my thoughts. High time frame. I deleted all my levels. Okay. I posted the chart. This was fresh. I said, okay, I'm expecting a move down into this area. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Trade the chart. Looking to short bounces on Bitcoin and F. And then what happened? We bounced. But then I got greedy. I went against my analysis. I was zoomed in too much, thinking, oh, maybe we're going to get up to here, right? When in reality, looking in hindsight, like this is such an obvious, run of this high, close below. That's a short signal, right? But, alas, I didn't take it. But I wanted to short still. And then I opened a small long because I was on like the 1 hour chart and I saw a higher low and I'm like, oh, maybe this thing's going to go up, and I got fucked. I could have just posted this and then updated it today with price dumping and be like, oh, bet, I nailed it, right? But that's not real, right? Like it's so easy to do that, and there's so many people on Twitter, it's very obvious, right? The people who never get shit wrong, they're probably LARPing, right? They're faking it. So it is what it is, right? I could have very easily made it look like on Twitter like I caught the move when I didn't. And it just shows you, right? Like trading and charting are two very different things. I can chart the fuck out of 50 different altcoins and 50 different pairs on Forex and Bitcoin and Ethereum, whatever, and I can post all these charts, and then I can just selectively post the ones that work and go in my direction and be like, see, right? But like, did I trade them? Like, what's the fucking point other than, worthless Twitter clout? What's the point of posting something and be like, see, fucking nailed it, right? I get it, right? It's like a popularity contest on there. Everyone wants to look like they get shit right all the time. But at the end of the day, you want to know what's more satisfying than likes and retweets and shit? Fucking money. Money is way better. So the way you make money is you actually take the fucking trade. And that's very different. Things aren't always going to work out the way you want them to, right? You're like, oh, I'm going to sell, here. Right? Or whatever. And then this happens, or maybe you were gonna, if it comes up here, you're gonna long a retest, right? And maybe it just chads through and then pulls back here and then continues, right? It's not always gonna work perfectly to how you charted it. It's not always gonna be as easy as it looks. things are going to happen, but that's when, trading happens. When you're actually executing the trade, price action is unfolding live, you have money on the line. Shit happens. You got to deal with your emotions. You got to deal psychologically with what's going on. If you're in a short from up here, right? And then you see this wick happen, but remember, this wasn't a wick right away. This was a body of a candle, right? And like, oh shit, it's chatting up. Well, if your stop's here, right? Are you gonna? Wow, what the fuck? I still haven't learned trading view. Are you gonna shit your pants, right? Like if you see this candle coming up and it's like, oh, I'm now at my entry again, right? Or are you gonna hold it, or do you know that you're wrong here? So until it gets there, you're still right, or your idea is valid, right? None of this shit happens. None of these thoughts, these emotions, which are learning experiences that will make you a better trader, none of that happens unless you're actually trading, right? So what's very common on Twitter is people will be like, where's an example? Like, okay, like I could just be like, from here, let's say we're here in price, and they're just like, oh, you just draw an arrow. The classic one's the arrow, right? Like to here. And then all of a sudden, some price action unfolds. Where the fuck is the thing? I don't know where the replay mode button is. It's under here. Yeah, you sneaky bastard. Right? And then, boom. Then they post this on Twitter, like, boom, nailed it. It's like, okay, but did you take a fucking trade? What was your setup? Where was your stop? What was your entry? Right? Like, did anything change? Did you take profit here? So doing TA, this whole fucking rant, doing TA and trading is really different. And so as much as I charted the move correctly, right? And I'm not trying to flex and fake on Twitter. Absolutely not. But me charting the move correctly at the end of the day means jack shit because I didn't trade it correctly, right? So like, why am I going to go on Twitter and post some chart, be like, boom, it's like, you didn't fucking trade it right. What the fuck you on about? So that's enough of that rant. Let me get into kind of my hindsight analysis of what went wrong, and where I kind of mucked up this consolidation. So basically, I had a fucking wicked few months from March right into before I went away on my trip in June. So I basically bought spot Bitcoin on the way down here. I bought some at like 5,500 and I had people chirping me when we went to 3K, right? It's like, whatever. I was averaging down. I'm happy below 6K. And then obviously it started paying off here. Caught a really nice swing from here to here. And then when I went on my trip, I actually ended up punting all the rest of my money I had and a low leverage long, like at 7,500. And I rode it up to like here, sold some in the 12 to 13K range, and that was awesome. I was in Europe. I was fucking crushing it, and part of what I was doing really well was I only looked at the chart like once a day because I was traveling, right? I'd come home at night, I'd open up the daily chart, and I'd be like, 2 minutes, I'd look at it, I'd be like, okay, I'm staying, or hey, I'm scaling some off. After this wick, I sold some the following week because of that wick. I was like, that looks kind of bearish. But I wasn't overanalyzing the chart, right? I was staying on the weekly and the daily, and I was like, as long as this level holds, I'm staying in, blah, blah, blah. So fast forward to coming home, and all of a sudden I find myself, looking at this chart. And it's like, this is fucking hard to trade. A lot harder to trade than the higher time frame chart. In this consolidation, whatever, this range, distribution, whatever's going on up here, whatever you want to call it, it's been a lot clearer on the high time frame. The low time frame has been choppy. It's been a lot of wicks, and it's been hard to trade, bottom line. So part of overanalyzing, one of the things I do the worst, one of my biggest weaknesses, I guess you could say, as a trader, is I will do monthly, weekly, daily analysis on the chart. I'll break it down. I'll determine my bias, I'll be like, boom, I'm locked in. This is what I'm doing for a trade, just like I showed you in that tweet. I'm shorting bounces, and then I end up zooming in to the 1 hour and go, well, we got a higher low here, and I'm gonna long it because I think I might be able to get a short up here, so I'm gonna long into my short entry, forgetting that my weekly, daily, even monthly bias is down, and I'm sitting here fucking around looking for a long on a low time frame. Like, that's elementary 101. Do not do, right? Determine your bias on the high time frame. My bias is determined on the weekly, monthly, daily chart. If my bias is down on my execution time frames, the 1 hour and the 4 hour, I look for shorts only. I ignore long signals because they're counter trend. And yes, I will miss longs. This was a nice long, right? This obviously was a huge long that I completely mucked up. But you know what else was a nice trade? The short back down, which I would have had if I hadn't been so busy trying to catch this long on the low time frame. And then when it finally got to where I originally wanted a short, all of a sudden I'm trying to long the fucking top. So it's very easy, and I'm telling you this as somebody who's been trading for 6 years, to fuck up and forget what your high time frame bias is by being zoomed in too much. And that's exactly what happened on this move. The evidence is here. I did the analysis. This is the analysis. I'm pointing at my screen and gesticulating as if you can see it, and I'm pointing at like some PowerPoint. This is my plan. Short bounces, watching for action Tuesday, Wednesday. Right? Here's today, Wednesday. Where's our bounce? Here's our bounce. Here's another bounce. And what did I do? I tried to long it. So, over analysis, right? That is what fucking slayed me here. And it sucks. My bias was correct. To me, based on what time frame you want to look at, let me start with just a fresh chart. None of these levels are levels I can't remember. Market structure shifts on the low. So now I'm just going to get to spitting some shit, and I'm going to mark up the chart and kind of talk about what's next. My plan remains the same, by the way. I'm thinking wick and move into here. I would love a wick below these lows here into this daily block. This is obviously dream scenario. Absolutely could just turn around from here. A lot of things could happen. Dream scenario for me, though, is a wick below these lows, regain this level, long it with your entire net worth, and retire soon after. That's my dream scenario. Another scenario, I'll go into my other scenarios in a bit, but I want to talk about something educational. The market structure shifts that occur in price action. So what are market structure shifts, right? If we're in a downtrend, right? You could say, okay, well, first level of interest, right, is the previous swing low. Are we going to have a bearish retest, right? Continuation of a downtrend. We've now made a lower low. We've locked in a lower high. And this is something I talked about. Man, I am scatterbrained. This is something I talked about here. Remember here when everyone was screaming for whatever, Bitcoin, 10K, whatever, we made a higher low on the weekly, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, a higher low doesn't mean shit until we lock in the higher high, right? And obviously, if you get the higher high, you would have wished you bought here, right? This is confirmation. Obviously, this is the early entry. But in a downtrend, right, you don't want to guess on higher lows. You're better off guessing on lower highs. Opposite in an uptrend. In an uptrend, right, if we're going up, I don't know if this is going to be a higher low, right? It's confirmed a higher low, right? Assume there's another low here, right? It's confirmed a higher low now, right? Now it's a higher low. I don't know if it's a higher low here yet, right? But I'm in an uptrend, and I'm guessing for continuation because that's my bias. Sure. In a downtrend, you don't want to do that because oftentimes you'll get this higher low here. All of a sudden, we got a lower high. This is now no longer, that higher low is now irrelevant, right? Now we've got a lower low, right? And it was really just continuation of a downtrend. So what you don't want to do, so where am I going here? So what I'm talking about here, same thing, right? Do you want to guess on the reversal point? Of course, when is this lower high confirmed, right? It's when we make a lower low. So you have a lower high here, okay, relative to this one, but this lower high could end up being broken, right? And we could reverse here. It's a confirmed lower high when we break the low, right? So if we look here, right, you look bearish retest, right? This is every altcoin in the world looks like this right now, right? Every altcoin in the world, this is the last 4 months of crypto Twitter in a nutshell for you, right? Alt season, it's alt season, it's alt season, never mind. Alt season, it's alt season, never mind, right? Just bearish retest. But where do you want to get long on this, right? Well, there's a couple options. Confirmation of a regain of this low, sure. Okay? That's a decent opportunity, at least to target to here. Ideally, you want to see what? A break in market structure. Now we have a higher high. This is a trend shift in market structure, right? This would be your early entry. This would be confirmation once market structure shifted. And my whole point is market structure shifts, like I'm showing you here, they're going to occur on all time frames, but they're going to occur on the lower time frames first. And I'm going to illustrate that now. We have a low, a high. There's your low, right? On the H4. This is a break in market structure. So by my trading rules, right, this is a break in market structure to the downside. I should now be leaning towards shorts, right? We move up, we form a lower high. This lower high is not confirmed until we take out this low. Okay? But this lower low is confirmed now that we've locked in this lower high. So on the 4 hour, you could tell pretty early that this is looking bearish, right? There's another break in market structure, right? Then we have another lower high. Now we're waiting for these lows to break, basically. That's a terrible line, but you get the idea. So see how early you can see that on the H4? Now let's go to the H12. H12 is the same. The daily, I think, is a little different. Is it? No, the weekly is what I want to show you. So the H4, you saw where I saw, the lower high. Here, to me, this is the weekly, right? This is your low. So on the weekly, we technically haven't broken market structure to the downside yet. Yes, this looks like a lower high, obviously, but this is not a confirmed lower high until we close through this level. And if we close through this level, then absolutely any sort of retest you want to sell. But on the weekly, that market structure hasn't fully shifted yet. So if you want to get an anticipation of when there might be a reversal, right, the lower time frame is going to show signs of it before the high time frame. Right? So on the weekly, what might look like a long wick, and you don't know that yet, but on the H4, right, well, what do you have here? You have a lower high made, and then you have a break in market structure, the downside, right? So now you're in a downtrend on the H4, but on the weekly, you don't know it's a downtrend yet. The H4 is trending down. On the weekly, you don't know yet, right? So it can be deceiving, and so you have to use the high time frame in context with the low time frame to determine. I start with the high time frame for my bias, but I look for market structure shifts around my key levels on the low time frame, right? So what do I want to see here? So this is my point. Let's say, so on the weekly, in my opinion, the way I trade, this is the low. That once this low is closed through, 9,530, once that low is closed through, you're looking to short the shit out of a pullback. So what you can do, right, is look on the lower time frame for that market structure to shift. We're already obviously in a downtrend here going into this level, right? So when we come down here, we might go up like this on the H4, let's say, and then have continuation, but the weekly may not have closed as a shift in market structure yet, but it's already shifted on the low time frame, right? So you're going to see that all the time in reversals. You're going to see that all the time in continuations. You want to see the market structure start to shift in the high time frames direction on the low time frame first. I'm hoping this makes sense. So if I'm bearish on the high time frame, when I'm looking for setups on the H4 and the 1 hour, I want to look for breaks in market structure to the downside. Let's say I'm bearish high time frame. I want to look for bearish market structure to form on the low time frame first, because bearish market structure forming on the H4 likely is going to lead to bearish market structure on the daily, which is leading to obviously bearish market structure on the weekly. So my mistake that I made, in terms of analyzing this whole entire range started, here. I even posted a chart. I'm not going to go find it. I posted a chart here when we broke this low. Sorry, I live in the ghetto. When we broke this low, I said this is a bearish break in market structure. I now want to short the next lower high into what will be a lower low. That's literally what I posted. You can go back and find it. People always find tweets where I get shit wrong and repost it under my comments. No one finds tweets of shit I get right and repost under my comments. So it's so funny, the human nature and human psychology that you see being on Twitter, especially being someone who has a following, just like seeing the amount of shit that I get in DMs and fucking like comments and stuff. It's unbelievable. It's like, dude, first of all, it's like, it's like a childhood bully, right? Like you don't let it bother you, right? Like they're powerless or whatever. Like to me, it's like, I don't give a fuck. Like I absolutely give no fucks about any of that. I comment every now and then, and that's just me being, petty and silly. Like I don't actually care. It's just more of a reflection to me of like, who are these people and like, what is your life that you are like gonna go on Twitter, go back like 2 months ago, find a tweet where I posted something and be like, see, gotcha, bitch. Like, okay. Like, I don't know. I find it absolutely hilarious. Like, please keep doing it. Please keep reminding me of all the shit I get wrong, because it's like, it tells me so much about you. That makes me happy, and just realizing that, man, my life could be so much worse if I was you. So to me, the daily here, this is where, I kind of had that initial like, okay, we made a break in market structure on the daily. I want to be looking for shorts now. But instead, I got caught up. I tried shorting this, ended up longing the fucking top. I made a bunch of mistakes. But at the end of the day, I had a key level here on the 12 hour. If you go back to my charts, you'll remember I had this one marked out here. To me, here's why this level is significant. So one thing I see that's very common on Twitter is people posting order blocks or levels with zero context. Zero context as to why the level is significant. They say, well, this is a breaker, or this is a bullish order block, so I'm going to buy it, right? But everything should have context, right? There's significance to levels. You can mark order blocks all day, but an order block that led to a significant move, an order block that led to a break in market structure, a support level that led to a significant run, a resistance level that capped price multiple times. There's significance to levels in these blocks, whatever the fuck you want to call them, supply zones. They have to be significant in some way to be relevant, in my opinion. And that's why people they mark levels and they'll DM me and go, hey, I marked this order block and price ran through it. And it's like, okay, well, why was that order block relevant? Did it make sense to mark that order block? Like, why do I like this daily block here? And it happened to lead to two huge, opportunities to long, right? Well, because this is the down move that led to this move up, right? So that's why that level is significant to me. Why do I like this level here? This is the up move that when this sold off, this was the break in market structure for me on the daily, right? Because my daily level is here. Oh, God. My daily level's here, 10,570. on the H12, this move that sold below the level, and then we regained it quickly, right? And then we look, this is exactly what you want to see in a breaker, right? Break low, take out these swing lows, regain, boom. But these levels are dynamic. It's support and resistance, right? So when we use this level to get below here, when we got back below it, to me, this was a significant level. And you can see that here, right? Rejected, rejected. And now what do you have here, basically? What do you want to call it? Do you want to call it a head and shoulders? Do you want to call it an over-under, right? Under the level, over the level, back under. So if I just would have left this level that I had at the start of July and just taken trades based off of that level only, with my bias being down, so I'm not taking any longs, okay? This is my original plan that I then managed to fuck up for like 6 or 7 trades in a row. I'm being raw with you here. This is my level. Hopefully this makes sense why this is significant, right? This is the level that broke market structure on the daily for me. Clearly a good level based on this reaction. I'm not taking longs. My bias after this level broke on the daily is for shorts. Here's your first short. That worked out. Second short, worked out. Third short, you're stopped. Fourth short, worked out. Fifth short, worked out. Obviously, this is completely in hindsight and ridiculous to even explain, but hopefully you can see my logic starting to come together here. And where I went wrong when I knew early on that, like, hey, even if it's not that, if this isn't your break in market structure, this absolutely is. We now have a high, a low, a lower high, and a lower low. You need to be selling this rally. I needed to be selling this rally. I fucked up, but and again here, right? Look at this nice level here. See this low here? Look where this order block forms. Why is this a key level? The market dumped. This is where it found its bottom. You can see price support, right? Resistance briefly. Look at this. Retest, go. There's now a 12-hour order block. Retest, move, retest, move. This is your bouncing ball meme. I even posted that. I said the bouncing ball meme is coming on this fucking level. But regardless, the trade is over. I lost. So where are we now? Or let me check the chat here. Jesus Christ, you guys should get a fucking chat room. Holy shit. Just 2 of you talking to each other. Okay. Gucci shoes, baby. I have Gucci flip-flops already, bro. Don't test me. You know I'm a hype beast. I'm making thousands from the beach, man. Driving a McLaren, making thousands from my mobile phone, where you're working a 9 to 5 like a pleb. What's up, Astro? How you doing, homie? Echo bubble. Yeah, I'll talk to you about the echo bubble in a sec here. Just trying to see if there's anything worth responding to, or if you guys are just talking to each other here. I occasionally will draw a trend line to show people. I've talked about this in so many videos, right? I was like, if you need a trend line, right, to show you that we're making higher lows, fucking do it, right? Like, if that's gonna help you visualize it, fucking do it. I don't need that. Same with most patterns. I don't need a pattern to tell me that we're making higher lows or higher highs. I did an entire fucking rant on patterns just being, like, you have a level. Try that again. Why don't I use a level instead of trying to draw a straight line? I fucking hate you. Okay, here we go. Now, is this the beginning of a potential uptrend, right? Where you could say, okay, you have a low, a high, potential higher low, right? Like, do I need a pattern to tell me that this is just market structure? Like, no. right? Taco Tuesday. I remember that. That was funny. Oh god, okay. Jesus Christ. Okay, so clearly no one has questions except for Chonky, Sakura, and fucking Lucid. Chat you later, Lucid. Hey, what up? What up? What up? Okay, so fuck you. Okay, so did anything I just ranted about for 40 minutes make sense to you guys? What up, Freddie? Okay, so let's discuss kind of what I think is going to happen now, and then we'll open up to any chart requests, and I'll end the video there. I'm going to be doing these weekly, so get used to my fucking rants. On average, how much are you risking per trade? 2 to 5%? Yeah, somewhere right in between there. Sometimes on higher time frame positions, I'll risk more because I have higher confidence in high time frame swing trades. But pretty much never more than 5%. Very rarely less than 2%. If it's like a scalp or something that's kind of out of my wheelhouse, I might do like 1%, but 2%, 2% low end, 2% to 3%. I would consider 2 to 3% my risk. So when I say I'm taking a trade, it's usually 2 or 3%. So if I say half size, it's usually like 1 or 1.5%. 5 would be like a banger high time frame trade that I'm super confident in. So let's talk about where I think we're going now, right? So and what I've shown you here is you don't need a lot of fucking levels to take trades. What you need is some key high time frame levels that have significance and have proven to have sensitivity when price comes to them, and then you need fucking patience, right? It's so easy when let's say I got my bias right. Let's say I traded this perfectly. It's gonna suck to sit here and watch this happen and think we're gonna continue higher. That's gonna suck, right? But you're gonna feel really good when you short it here. You're gonna feel really good here. You're gonna be pissed when you see this and be like, oh shit, are we going through new highs? And then it dumps right back through, right? So you gotta have the combination of, doing good TA is fine and all, but then you have to have patience and wait for the setup. And one of my other weaknesses as a trader is I will and this goes with the first one, right, is I'll overanalyze, I'll get too zoomed in, and then I'll rush a trade because I want to be in a trade. I see other people in trades. I want to be in a trade. I want to post a trade on Twitter and be like, I'm in this fucking trade. And usually those are the ones that I get wrong. So funny how that works, right? But regardless, where do I think we're going right now? So see this level here on the H12? I like this. I like this. I like a retest of this before down, right? Because to me, this level's dicked here, right? This daily order block is a daily order block. If I take here to here, this level's dicked. So to me, are we going to bounce from here? Maybe. Or we're going to go like this. I would love to get a short up here. That's kind of what I'm watching for. Some sort of pullback to short. There's no trade for me right now. I'm not going to try and catch a long back up. I'm going to wait to short the next obvious move to me. I'm going to fucking get my next trade right, so help me God. So this is kind of what I'm waiting for. And then my plan remains the same. My next major trade is based off the weekly. Everyone and their mom is watching this weekly order block, and I kind of like it that way because what it makes me think is that when we actually get there, people are going to be too fucking scared to do anything. I like that weekly order block, and I like this level right here. I like in here. I would love a wick and regain. What are the other options? Okay, the other options, I'm just going to delete everything here. If we don't get that weekly order block, what's your other trade? To me, it's very likely that we see these lows get run. Okay? Very likely that we see these lows get run. So the next potential trade, right, is obviously, hopefully a pullback that I can short. But to me, these lows are getting gunned. This would also get me bullish. Right? Running of the lows, regaining the 9,000 level basically. That would get me bullish, right? Again, I would love an opportunity to, short here. But if we wick down here, regain the low, I think that's a long. I'm not going to probably take it. Maybe I will. We'll see what happens. But if we wick below these lows, regain this level, to me that's a no-brainer long. But again, this level's been tested multiple times. I'm more inclined to think that maybe this happens, but then we nuke through it, right? So that's my plan, right? Waiting until we come down into here. God, why don't I just use the fucking line, Mayne? Right? A wick into there. The weekly block is like from, I think, here to like down here. Something like that, right? A wick into there. So that's my kind of plan. I'm still thinking we're going to see more downside. I'm going to be looking to get swing long in here. I truly am banking on and expecting like this. And it seems crazy, and I might be wrong. And if I am, fuck it, I'm wrong. Don't really care. Shit happens. But I think people who are calling for like 4K again are delusional. But hey, maybe I'm delusional, thinking that we're just going to hit this level and then run. Maybe I'm wrong. But to me, this move is not getting fully retraced back into the lows. You're not going to get the chance to buy the absolute bottom twice. Could we go lower than this 7K? Absolutely. If we do go anywhere lower, the area I'm watching is here. These candles that basically led to the sell-off. Wow. These candles that led to the sell-off here, so 6,800 basically, 6,500, I could see us coming into there. I don't think so. 6K was the floor forever. Now is it going to be, a perfect retest? Maybe we wick down in there, but I think any sort of move below 7K is a wick and it's fast. And I think we'll be back into the 8, 9Ks very quickly. I don't think it's going to consolidate around there too long. This is what I'm thinking. I think people who think this is an echo bubble and this is just going to completely retrace, I think you're wrong, but that's trading. You got to have a decision one way or another, what you think, and you got to fucking put your money where your mouth is. So that's what I'm going to do. To me, this doesn't look great on the monthly, but look. So, here's a cool level, actually. Something just little something. Look at the 50% here, 11,607. So that's the EQ of the entire. Right? Isn't that nuts? How good of a level that was? When we failed to stay above it, right? Is that not your sign? Like, look at the weekly. I don't think the weekly closed above it. Weekly never closed above that level. Right? Daily had some closes, right? But never was able to flip it as support. So, personally, as much as the monthly looks like shit, this is a bear market. Right? This is a bull market. See the large bodies on the white candles. Okay? Huge body white candles here. Right? in the bear market, we had a few large body white candles, but the bear candles bodies were massive. Here, yes, we have wicks, obviously, but this is a small bodied candle. This, depending on how far we sell off, is a small bodied candle. So to me, it's like we just did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months with huge bodied green candles. Are we stressing about 2 potential, down months? What are the odds we get 3 straight months of red? Right? I don't know. What are the odds? Let's go look at another chart. Let's go look at this one. Right? 1, 2 months of red, continuation. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the bear market, right? So to me, I'm not too stressed. Based on the monthly, that's a nice level right there too. That's in line with that weekly order block. But based on the monthly, right, if you're just looking at the monthly chart, this looks like what is going to happen to me. Here's the up candle that led to this. We're now above it. Retest, go. So we'll see. I don't think that this is an echo bubble. I don't think that we're going to see this. I just don't. I think that these are small. This is a small bodied candle. We didn't have other than this one here. You don't have really that many small body candles. Look at the weekly even. Right? 3 red weeks in a row. Chances are we're probably going to get a green week sooner or later if we have a 4th red week. Right? But after all of this, some down is expected. And everyone's like, oh, 40% correction already happened. It's like, I'm just playing level to level, man. I own enough spot Bitcoin from here to here that I don't really care. My average price is low enough that to me the market would have to be completely fucked to me to be like, oh, okay, this sucks. But I'm not overexposed like a lot of people are. If Bitcoin went to 0, I would not be happy, obviously, unless I was in a short. But it's not going to ruin my life. I'm not going to be able to not pay rent. Shit like that. It's a lot of money, but it's not my entire net worth. It's a portion of it, and it's it would suck to fucking lose. Don't get me wrong, but it's I'm not stupid. I'm my stop loss on Bitcoin is fucking, I don't know, sub 4K. Really? It's if it went back down to 4K, I'd probably be meh. Is it even worth selling, or is it just worth holding and seeing if it goes back up? I'm kind of in that mindset. I don't know. So we'll see. I mean, obviously, I'm going to sell and get short well before 4K. Let's be clear here. But I'm just saying, I just don't see it coming back there. And I'm not really stressed. A lot of people I know want to sell all of their spot here and rebuy it at 7K. And you might be able to do that. But to me, there's a higher likelihood that you sell spot here, right, are too scared to buy here and then end up rebuying, back above your price. That happens more often than not. It's happened to me during this this shit. More often than not, every time I tried to be smart with my spot, I scaled a bunch off, some off at 6, and I ended up rebuying it higher. Just because this thing kept going. And it's fuck, why am I trying to time this? Why am I trying to outperform a parabolic trend? Why not just ride it? You know what I mean? So I feel like I'm kind of just completely digressing at this point. So probably a good place to put a pin in it. Yeah, exactly. Does anyone have any questions? Anything you guys want to see specifically? I said I'd keep this under an hour, so I'm fucking crushing it. Of course, man. We all were. Unless you're that guy who blocked me, the MA guy who bought the bottom on the 200 daily moving average because he's a fucking legend, that guy. Oh my God, he's a legend. He logged 50K contracts at the bottom. What a fucking hero. Okay, I'll do XRP, BTC, and I'll do this weekly range. And then we will call it there. So Chonky, tell me if I'm drawing your range right. What's he saying here? The big 2018 weekly range, 6K to 11K. Is it like... Is it this? Tell me if I got the range right, bro. So this isn't that bad to me. If this is the range you're going with, what do you have here? You have your deviation below, right? Now we've tested the range high. What makes the most sense? What makes the most sense? We're in an uptrend, right? When your ranges have to have context, just like everything, right? When people are playing a range, right? They're like, okay, the range low got swept, so now it must go to the range high, right? Sure, that happens a lot, but let's say you're in a range here, and then the range low gets swept. If it's a downtrend, right? If the move leading into this range is a downtrend, you're likely wanting to not necessarily long to the range high. That's not what you want to do. You want to get short near the range high, expecting the range to continue to the downside because it's a downtrend, right? That's something people don't understand about ranges and do completely wrong. So here in an uptrend, right? This is now an uptrend on the high time frame. We've deviated the range low. We've now swept the range high. I want to get long in the bottom, as close to the bottom third of the range as I can. I want to get long below the 50 or at the 50, expecting the range to continue to the upside. Right? That's my thoughts. So to me, this is bullish, right? I see this as like, okay, we deviated the range low. We're in an uptrend. I want to get long as close to, the 50% or below the 50% as I can, expecting the range to break to the upside. That's my thoughts on it. XRP is gay. It's known that if you invest in XRP, you actually are a homosexual. So you said, why no XRP die? I would put the question back to you and say, XRP has been dying for fucking ever. Look at this shit. Why trade altcoins? This looks like fucking hot garbage. There's your only level that really matters on XRP. Until you get back above there, who knows when this fucking tragedy is going to end. Right? And that level's far away. That's almost a 2x right there. So I would be watching. Like, this is my advice always on altcoins. It's like, wait till it regains support. You can be the hero longing here, thinking that you've caught the bottom, and then you get smacked. I did that on ETH plenty of times. You're better off to long XRP here than you are to long it now. Again, better off to long it when it regains this level than you are now. Ultimately, we regain this level, I'll even long XRP and become gay. How's my gold doing? Yeet. Not loving that. Well, that all looks like shit. You want to know what looks great, though, is fucking silver. Silver looks fucking incredible. I'm telling you right now, silver is going to go through all-time high within the next couple of years. And I know that sounds like super fucking long from now because we're in crypto and you need everything to happen immediately, but, like, that's big gains in the fucking commodities market. right? There's your yearly order block, right? Complete market cycle, retest of the yearly order block. What should you be doing when we're interacting with this level? Right? Like you should absolutely be looking for longs. There's an over under right at the yearly order block, right? Here we are again. Below the yearly order block, regain it, retest, boom, right? So you want, this is, Forex is so easy because you have so much price history, right? So you can literally find like a yearly level on the dollar CAD. Let's go. You know, like here, this is your 3-month block, right? Like that's gonna have a reaction. This looks top to me. I think this is gonna roll over, but that's besides the point. Like you're gonna have a reaction at this level that's going to be bullish. It's a bullish 3-month order block. So all you need to do is set an alert here. And every time price comes here, look for a setup. Whatever kind of setup you like. Do you like trading breakers? Right? You know, there was a trade. This is all, I'm just pointing out stupid hindsight shit now, but I've run out of stuff to talk about. You know, there's an over-under at that level. There's a bazillion setups here forming on all different time frames. And all you needed is a key high time frame point to say, okay, I'm looking for bullishness here. That's why I like 4X. When I was on this losing streak, I went back to 4X and I won like 2 trades in a row, and it made me feel good. Okay, this is the last chart requests I'm doing, so no more questions after natural gas. XRP USD is also gay. I'm HIV positive about that. It's a South Park joke. So, I mean, this looks like dog shit. I don't want to touch this, but, like, if it's going to bounce, like, if this shit show is going to bounce, it's going to bounce from here. Right? So, if this is going to bounce, this is it. So, there's that. You know? Every time it's come to this level, it's had a reaction. So let's see, right? Right now, this looks like shit, but again, not really interested in trading, you know, XRP until it's back above like the 30-cent mark. You should expect bullishness here, right? Think of this as a range low. If this is the bottom, there's your range low. Deviate the range low, regain it. That's when you want to get long. Okay. ADA. Again, like, not really interested in this until it regains this low here. And look at where that low is. It's like, I don't know if that's even a good level to use, obviously, but really not interested. I mean, look, this is kind of an uptrend, but if Bitcoin nukes, I expect this to nuke, right? Like, Bitcoin dumps again, I expect this to dump. So, you know, I'm interested in ADA back above 540, let's call it. That's when I'd potentially look to get long. But I mean, again, you can do this on all altcoins the entire bear market, right? Like, look at TRX, right? There's your floor. Alt season, go look on July 17th and see who, and 17th and 18th, and see who was talking about alt season, who only proceeded to get fucking wrecked, right? So again, I want to see it regain this low, regain this low. Odd JPY, that is a pair I've never traded. Maybe I should have. Look at this. I said it was going to go down, and it did. I should post this on Twitter for clout. Give me my clout. Yeah, I mean, this looks like dog shit to me, right? I mean, I think it's I think it's a gift if you get a short up here. I mean, this is very macro. That's a weekly chart. But yeah, there you go. Same shit. I think you see some sort of move back into this low and you just short it. And your stop goes up here. Because I could see a move above these highs and then continue down. But I would be looking to short this thing on any sort of pullback. It looks like it's ready, right? Like this is, your 1, 2, you gotta have your 3 drives. Maybe you have one more sell and then the retest. That's when you get it. Brent, my son. Oh, I charted this last fucking time too. Oh God. Well, not posting this one on Twitter. So I had the right idea, right? We had a level capping price here. This is key. It's obviously holding a support. I like this. If we can hold the 60 level, I think we can see some expansion to the upside. Right? What do you have here? What does this look like to you? Right? Like you have price. Right? You have an uptrend capped, right? This looks like it could break up. Here's a nice level right here, right? So I think you either can long it here, literally. I wouldn't be surprised if we dip down though, right? This long I like a lot. Back above like 61, I like that if it gets there. Because that looks okay. All right, guys. I'm going to, natural gas, sorry. Looks kind of similar. Jesus. Okay, I mean, look, if this is going to bounce, it's going to bounce here, right? So I think on the lower time frames, I think you're cautiously bullish, right? This is an extremely long sell-off, right? You could, this is like a market cycle here on the daily, right? This is a very long sell-off. I like the idea of this. Hold on, I'm going somewhere with this. I like the idea of this, right? Maybe one more drive, right? And then a regain. Because like to me, this looks right. We're right into monthly demand, monthly order block. To me, this looks like ripe to rip out some previous highs. It could, obviously this is still bearish. It could very much do this and then down, but these look ripe for the taking in my opinion. All right, guys, I've got some food here, so I'm going to eat. I'll chat you all later. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back next week with another one.